Those who have spent some time watching this channel have heard about a certain goal. Once this tiny channel reached a certain number of patrons and YouTube members, the plan was simple. I will take a Ford car which I won after spending 5 hours in Mission 34 during my Gran Turismo 4 randomizer playthrough. Yeah, the Infinite is a really good circuit. This thing was born with a single purpose: become an icon of this channel. It took a few months, but thanks to a generous soul, this channel has reached 50 supporters thanks to gifted YouTube memberships. This channel is funded by my viewers, either through YouTube memberships and super chats or Patreon. If you wish to join them, there's a link in the description. Every single one makes a massive difference, as every single penny I earn goes into buying new gear for this channel and cover my most basic living costs. You have days of free content on this channel, given my Gran Turismo 4 randomizer playthrough has taken months to complete, and it will mean a lot if more people started watching these streams. All things considered, this is a reward for my supporters, for staying with me for so long. With this in mind, I wanted to ensure they could enjoy this race, and I had to make the Ford car competitive, which wasn't easy. At first glance, a stock Ford car isn't too different from your average front-wheel drive. It doesn't have much power, meaning its shortcomings aren't obvious at first glance. The problems begin once you start modifying parts and adding more power, as the car is unable to make the most out of it. Sure, it will accelerate, but it falls apart in every single corner, understeering and losing time to its rivals. One would think these handling flaws could be fixed with a good suspension setup, but this isn't the case given the Ford car is handicapped by its low grip modifiers. What are grip modifiers? Basically, they are a chassis stud which resembles mechanical grip, and higher grip modifiers mean better response while turning, and more grip at your disposal while exiting corners. Sure, you could improve this situation by choosing softer tires, but the Ford car has really small tires and they take a substantial amount of abuse thanks to its front-wheel drive layout. These two factors made the car outright unviable for an endurance race, as it couldn't build a sizable gap with the field in order to cover for extra stops. So that's it? My challenge run was over? Turns out there is an alternative, a legendary, ancient dark magic, hybrids. Oh god, get that thing away from me. It has nothing to do with this trash can. No. A hybrid in Gran Turismo is a car with swap parts. You can have a Fiat 500 with the engine of a GTR, and these aren't new, they have existed for years, but they have been made more accessible thanks to new tools and emulation. In order to access this information, you must leave a like on this video. I am sure you want to help this channel, so you could subscribe given less than 10% of my audience is subscribed. Now that you have left a like, allow me to show you how I created this hybrid. First of all, you need to play GT4 on PCSX2, which is an emulator available on PC. Make sure you are using version 1.7, better known as nightly builds. The first thing you must check comes under your memory card settings. Make sure these are saved as folders. If they aren't, convert them. You have to click here on convert, a small dialog will appear. Once these memory cards are converted into folders, you need to download Nenkai's Gran Turismo 4 save editor. You can find the download link in the description. Make sure you download version 0.60 or higher. Once you extract the files on your PC, you will have to open your save. Head to the top left corner, click on File, then Load. Here you will need to find your memory card directory, which can be found on PCSX2. Once you find it, open your save file and you will see its data displayed on the save editor. Head to Garage, then Edit Car. This is the important part, where the magic happens. You must follow these instructions. Download SQLite Studio, and once you have it installed, open the corresponding database regarding the origin of your copy. In order to open a database in SQLite, you must head to the top left corner and click on Database. Then, click on Add a Database, or you can drag and drop them into SQLite. If you wish to know the directory of each database, click on Database Folders in your Save Editor tab. Once this database is loaded, it will appear on the left of your screen, where you can choose and find the appropriate parts. What you need are these numbers displayed under row ID, as these numbers represent each individual part, which is why they are divided in categories. I will pick this Camaro Z28 engine, which has the ID code 1414. Copy them and replace the appropriate items on your save editor. Once these are done, you can close the Edit Car tab. However, make sure to save your changes before closing the editor, or they won't be completed. In order to save them, click on Save on the top left corner, find your folder once again, select it and overwrite your save. Once this is done, all changes should be saved. I want to thank Nenkai for creating this handy piece of software, and T-Kanji for giving me the idea of editing this Ford car in the first place. You can find a link to his channel in the description of this video. Thanks to these tools, I've been able to fix the Ford car and turn it into a respectable race car. My first change was its engine. While the stock car engine wasn't bad, it has a strange torque curve which isn't kind to its tires. I replaced it equipped with a Spoon Civic Type R engine, which has a better torque curve. It's more smooth as it builds power towards the top range, where the car is always going straight and it won't start spinning its wheels through corners. The truth is, it doesn't need any extra mods to compete at Tsukuba, where my opponents don't have over 300 horsepower. This might seem like an unnecessary change, however, I found it was vital to give the car an edge, but it needs more. Its main problem lies with tire wear, as I mentioned previously. Those thin tires are unable to cope with the stress of multiple laps at full pace, so my first step to solve this was changing them for bigger tires, and it didn't work. The results were the same. I had to do something drastic, which is changing the chassis. Given the abuse these tires had to endure, I decided to use one of the best chassis in the entire game, which belongs to the Opera S2000, a car which has been featured on this channel before, and you can discover all about it at the end of this video. It's important to mention, the chassis swap won't change the drivetrain of the car, which means it's still a front-wheel drive car. With the tires and chassis of the Opera S2000, the Ford car manages to withstand the abuse demanded by endurance races, and I carried this build to victory during my live streams. It wasn't easy as I had to ensure my laps were on a specific time barrier. I also stopped more times than my closest rival, a Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 8. These are the sort of things I do during my live streams, and given most of my audience doesn't join for them, I would like to invite you all to do so. By the time this video releases, my Gran Turismo 4 randomizer playthrough will be completed, and you'll be able to find it in the description of this video. With this achievement under my belt, I couldn't help but ask myself, how far can I push this build? My curiosity knows no boundaries, which is why I decided to make one change. I swapped the tires on my car once again. This time they were medium racing slicks straight from the Nissan GT-R LM concept, which has the widest front tires I could find. Oh god, it looks so dumb. I love how it made the plastic wheel covers even bigger. Go on, make fun of it while you can. With 280 horsepower going through the front wheels, I decided to bring this car to the Tuning Car Grand Prix, a championship where different powerful cars are gathered. My grid is probably the toughest this championship has to offer, as the rest of the grid is composed by different roofs and the previously mentioned Opera S2000. The first race takes place at Apricot Hill Reverse. I cannot make up for my power difference as these cars sit around 300 to 500 horsepower and they leave me into dust. My chance lies through corners as I can brake much lighter than them, with a somewhat questionable dive bomb. The Opera S2000 refuses to let the car steal its thunder but falls back quickly. How much time in camera do you want? I already have an entire video dedicated to you. With the S2000 taken care of, it's time to chase the leading car, which is myself, the one and only icon of this channel. It's kind of ironic how I'm racing against myself in this race, always trying to prove I can do slightly better, but then reality comes back to slap me and I realize the absurdity of set goals. But you aren't here for my delusional ramblings, or so I like to believe. Even if driving a Ford car with wheels which only belong in a Formula 1 is something out of an acid trip, it also drives like a fantasy. The amount of grip this tiny car has is enough to maneuver everything in sight. The only issue is the fact it can be quite nervous and difficult to place as it has no weight over the rear axle. I managed to correct this with a tiny bit of ballast, but still one has to be careful. However, you can get the hang of it quite quickly, which is good because I have to chase this Yellowbird and I only have 2 laps to secure the lead. By the start of the 3rd lap I managed to overtake the AI as it's quite slow at the first corner. While I can be slightly creative in order to overtake, the Yellowbird is faster than me. There's no question about it as I suffer through straights, while I can block them slightly, and I can take the following turn at a solid pace which gives me some breathing room. By then, I managed to cross the finish line with the Opera S2000 and Yellowbird behind me, the mystic behind this volume. It means so much for the lore of this channel. The second race of this championship takes place at Fuji Speedway, a circuit which benefits outright power rather than handling, which is funny because it doesn't take long before I climb my way to 2nd place. While the Yellowbird is much faster than my corset car build, it struggles under braking, and believe me, I know this car like my hands. I already made a video about it which you should totally watch, as most people treat this car as useless. Don't fall under this train. I think I should have made the gears longer because the engine had a bit left to give, but I had the benefits of slipstream on my side. I may have got into its brain as it tries to crash into the car shortly after, which makes me flip, but I don't lose my position in some sort of miracle. Karma comes back for the Yellowbird however, as it loses 2nd place to the Opera S2000 before the end, and it's too close for comfort. If I didn't move and block this thing, I would have lost 1st place before the finish line. My god, give me a break. But we still have more races to tackle. The 3rd one takes place at Tokyo Road 246. This is a circuit which suits my car as most corners are fast paced. The back markers live up to their name as we start the final lap. It's a 3-way battle for the lead, with the Opera and Yellowbird right ahead of me. I find crazy how even we are to straightaways. Sure, they have more pace than I do, that is to be expected. expected, but at least I can remain close enough to brake later and overtake them. This is my saving grace as there's nothing else I can do. They truly outmatch me in certain areas. However, I have a blue go-kart on my side. It's remarkable how it doesn't struggle through this chicane, which often presents a challenge for faster cars, as they tend to lose balance and spin out. So it's safe to say this is another close victory, with the upper S2000 right behind. Oh, the upper S2000 takes the lead away from me at the final second and I lost the race. There, that's your moment of glory, S2000. Are you happy now? Will you sleep tonight? Will you give me a break now? I think they will, because the next race takes place at El Capitan, a circuit where the AI is terrible and I quite like. It's pretty simple really. It's a crushing victory for the car, which takes us to the final race of the championship at Tsukuba. The strategy is quite similar, as I take advantage of my superior braking to start climbing through the ranks. Then again, Tsukuba is a circuit where power differences are negated by its layout. Grip and handling are vital instead, a lesson which the Yellowbird learns firsthand. But I can understand, the stock setup is atrocious. You should have used mine instead. Once I get past it, all there's left is claim the championship as mine. 4 out of 5 isn't too bad after all, and I think this build has proven its strength, or has it? I wasn't happy with beating a single championship. I wanted something else. Usually I take these cars to Tsukuba wet, only to make them in ultra feel bad for a couple of laps, but ever since I won that race with Aquila during my live streams, it has lost some of its magic. All I knew was I had to beat race cars, so I started looking for different events until I settled with the Dream Car Championship. I tried different races in this championship, only to discover the track layout had to be on my side, so I settled with El Capitan, a circuit which I'm better at. At the same time, I had to find a specific lineup, as the car couldn't compete against the fastest cars of this field. By now, the car has NA tuning stage 3, which pushes its power to 500 horsepower. The entire grid pulls away from me as the race starts, but they start to have issues through the first corners. First one to bite the dust is the chunky Toyota RSC rally car, followed by the Fairlight ELM edition. These two are slower than the rest, which leaves me in no man's land until I place myself behind the Red RX-7. This is a pretty quick car and I want to get past as soon as possible, before it takes off. Maybe it won't, because this uphill section tends to slow them down while I take a more aggressive path. The RX-8 and Impreza are struggling as well, which helps me to secure the lead even if the Impreza puts a decent fight. Driving this car through the main straight is scary, at the very least because this thing is so unstable. I have to brake early and straight or it will spin and it costs me the race. It takes a lot of throttle control to maintain this speed on the track, really, and you can see how bizarre my inputs can be at times through bumpy areas of El Capitan. My opponent to beat in this race has become the Mazda RX-8, as it remains close to me and it goes for the overtake at the end of the second lap. I couldn't do anything to defend as I fall to second place. We trade positions a few times before the third lap begins. Surprisingly, I managed to outpower the RX-8, which I wasn't expecting, and we crossed the finish line side by side. Who needs a respectable racing team anyway? My fight with the RX-8 becomes something proper out of a boxing match for a few moments as we make contact a few times, until I tap a wall and the RX-8 pulls away from me. I couldn't recover my position through this lap, meaning I started the final lap on second place. The RX-8 remains at the lead. I didn't gain much as we approached the final section of the track. My final chance comes at the last corner of the circuit, where I make a dive and place myself at the side of the RX-8. The smaller car manages to fit past and has better acceleration on corner exit, which means the race is mine. The car has won against a grid full of race cars, don't mention they are lower tier race cars. I think it's a fitting conclusion. A car which started as a meme challenge managed to grow into something capable of challenging the best. Maybe the same applies to this channel, or so I would like to believe. The fact it reached this point is impressive, and we wouldn't be here thanks to you all of you who support these endeavors. If it wasn't thanks to my audience, this challenge will still be a promotional project. Honestly, I think you all deserve a warm thank you, starting by your YouTube members, Yukon family, and my supporters at Patreon. We thank them as follows: our amateur racers, professional racers, and world champions: Line Dev, See What Happens Racing UK, Whiskey Tuesday, Sondere Kiseli, Enzo Lassonieri, Raziel, Hunter Kaufman, Josh Pig, Crusader Glenn, Lonnie Murray, Tyscam, Matim19, and Espriel. Your support makes this channel possible, and I can't thank you enough. If you wish to join these wonderful people, you can either join them as a YouTube member or Patreon. There are big plans coming this month, and it will mean a lot if this channel could grow in size as they are revealed. I hope to see you all soon, either on my videos or live streams. Take care, and bye for now.